Well, good evening. So we have Cobb and Chloe in chat, but apparently they might be watching ads at the moment. So anyway, bit of a last-minute rush of a stream this evening. Hi RHK77, and thank you for the follow the other day. Right, okay, Chloe no longer has ads, but Cobb has Spanish ads. Excellent. That's what we like. To achieve that level of success where they start shoving ads at you that bear no relation to the information I'm getting. Oh well. Anyway, this evening we are taking a look at the that side. That I'm not with it today. At the deck rainbow, which is in that corner there somewhere. Because we got it. You see a Ben now. Hello, Cobb. Welcome back from the ads, and sorry about that. I do have it set to try and not start in the first 5 minutes of the stream so that I can get the intro out of the way, but it doesn't a bit of work. Whatever. So yeah, the last time we saw the rainbow, we got it working. There was an issue with one half of the floppy drive, which did get corrected eventually off stream. So then I had some fun with some of the discs that came with it. And one of them was labelled Rainbow Games. So I had a look at that. Oh, Cobb, thank you for the Prime sub there. That's very kind of you. Nice delay there, excellent. But yes. By the way, do you hear that chime? Or do you just see the message? Because I hear the chime and it is set to go out on the stream, but it doesn't show up in the VODs, so I don't know what's happening. Anyway, a disc labelled Rainbow Games, and I had a look, and most of the games on there were text adventures. The chime was loud. Okay, I shall knock the alerts down a bit. Oh, they're at 0 dB. Let's try -12. That might help next time. So one of the so-called games on the disc was called Draw. So I had a look at that and fumbled my way around in the menus, and I found an option where you can choose your colour palette. Hi Stevie, how are you doing? And whatever I did with it, I could get it to show shades of cyan or green or blue, but I definitely couldn't get any reds out of it. So I think there is something wrong with the red output, which explains also why the graphic demo we were running looked a bit strange, and also why when I ran the 123 tutorial it was only showing me 2 of the 3 bars in the bar charts it was supposed to be showing me. So there's definitely something up. We'll see if we can work out what it is. But step 1 is to fire the thing up. So if I go over to this one, and oh, that has not gone according to plan. Why has the open interface got... There we go. If we turn power on, well, it could be a calibration issue with the RGB to HDMI. I don't know what it's spitting out. It shouldn't be, because that worked nicely on the VT240, and as we saw the other day, the VT240 is very keen on its red. Its default standard colour is red, in fact, which I thought would be more of a problem for me. Be quiet. More of a problem for me than it actually is. But anyway, there we go. We shall boot DOS. We should be able to boot this on drive A this time, because it should now be working. Hooray! You're burning some channel points there, are you, Cobb? Yes, I haven't yet figured out anything fun to do with those. The best I've come up with is steal a few sound effects from Sean Keaveney's old soundboard from his 6 Radio show before he was ousted in favour of Craig Charles. But we shall see. Current date is the 29th, isn't it? And current time is 21:30. Steal something from Majenko instead. Well, no, I can't steal anything from Majenko. If I steal things from Majenko, he'll turn up here and steal some of my shiny toys, and we can't have that. So, games disk in drive B, and let's see what happens. So there's a bunch of stuff there. We'll just fire up the drawer, because I know that lets me change the colour palette. Need to work something out. Yes, I shall certainly try. Now here we have an issue. That looks like a white cursor to me, but I'm presuming it's actually cyan. And I did find a way to do something. I think you press help, and that gets help, which is always helpful. Use primary colour as PF1. No, it was one. That was the button I found last time. So we can turn the green up and down. It's on mono because the rainbow is very weird. Hi GPN, how are you doing? We can turn the red up and down and absolutely nothing appears to happen. Similarly for green, because the green gun is disconnected at the moment, it's connected to the mono, and then blue. So we can have full blue or full green, but white eludes us. Yeah, so it makes sense. If red is missing, then white becomes cyan, which is fine. And historically, this is one of the things I have always struggled with. So what we'll do, if I change the... One moment, I need to press that one, no, that one, and that one, I think. No, I've put the oscilloscope on my monitor, which isn't what I wanted. Is it that one? There we go. Now you can see the oscilloscope properly. And on the top we have the green trace, and on the bottom we have the red trace. No, mono is the pinout for the video connector on the Rainbow and VT240 and a few other things, like I think the DEC and the Professional, has signals for a monochrome monitor and signals for RGB monitors. And for some reason the Rainbow arranges them strangely. What the Rainbow does is the onboard text output is always on the mono pin. So in order to use a colour monitor, they provided a special cable that wired the red and blue through and then wired the mono pin through to the green gun. This means that when the graphics and the colour graphics card is installed, it also has a mono output, but by default the green channel goes out on that one because otherwise it wouldn't work with the fancy cable they supplied. If you install both a mono and a colour monitor by using all 4 pins, then none of your software works basically, because it's expecting you to have this weird ass cable, which is all very strange, very confusing. But effectively, mono is green, red is red, blue is blue, and green is nothing. So if we put that back on the middle, we should be able to see there's a sort of runt pulse there that's moving up and down in the oscilloscope trace, and that's because we're probing the mono line, which is what I'm adjusting at the moment. So we see we can move that. I think it's got 16. Yeah, so it's a 4-bit output for each channel, so 16. A weird ass cable I think is BCC 07, it might be BCC 12, I can't remember. But we're seeing absolutely nothing at all on the red line, so let me just hook the oscilloscope up to the blue line instead, and we'll make sure that this is not a probing issue, but it's looking like red is completely dead at this point. Oops, not the camera, but that should give us the blue line on the bottom trace. So yeah, we can move that up and down now. Yeah, the colours are analog, so it's 1 volt peak to peak, with black level at 0.3. So effectively they're all well, no, sorry, they're not all. The mono and the green lines include sync, so it's sync on green, so mono and green are composite signals, and then the red and blue are just 1 volt peak to peak video. So that's all working fine, there's just no red at all. So I think what we need to do now is take the lid off and see if we can work out where the red disappears. Before we do that, let's see if we can have some fun with this thing. There we go. So cancel. Where's the cancel button? Find select. Aha. Exit, are you sure? Yes. And there we're back to text mode, so that's good. So let's try that. I think this did something vaguely interesting. Oh, okay, it's just the older. I think Windows 3 had a similar screensaver at some point. But at least it's showing off it's got most for a rainbow there. So we'll turn off the... why is that there? Go away. Go away. I told you. Right. Hi Wesley, how are you doing? That sounds unlucky, Chloe. I haven't seen that one yet. I'll have to keep an eye out. Hang on, what was I... I've just finished a bottle of the apple one, which is surprisingly appley. But I think that might be incompatible with your sweetener issue there. So anyway, we'll just get the lid off this and see where we are. Apologies for the armpit cam again. It is definitely not the day to be doing armpit cam. Come on. Come on, where this couch is stuck. There it is. Right, so we need to get the system module, as they call it, out of the bottom, which hopefully we can do without removing everything. So power cable out. And disk drive cables out. But this isn't going to go at all well. There we go. So, how are we going to go about this? We are going to plug the it's alright, we'll untangle these cables first. So we shall plug in the adapter board for the video because we can hook up to that one, the red line, as a test. If I can find a multimeter. Whoops, pressed the wrong button there. And I need to find a crocodile clip bleed. There's a crocodile clip bleed. And pop that on. Red there. So let me just quickly catch up with chat. Carrot House, how are you doing? Long time no see. Well, glad to see you're all entertaining yourself while I was fiddling. Let me just catch up. You've all had much more productive days than I have, by the sounds of it. I have managed to incorrectly hang a bike in the garage, so now it is resting on top of the lawnmower, which is not where it was supposed to be. Which colour PCB? Yeah, it is a rather varied palette, isn't it? So what we want to do is bring up the... First we want to remember which one is the graphics card. So we've got the floppy drive controller, hard drive controller, memory expansion. So by process of elimination, this must be the graphics card. Right, so that's the graphics card out. Thank you, Carrot House. Sorry to trouble you with mod actions in your immediately on your return. Yes, it's one of those little graphic controller things that can draw lines and arcs and I think you can do bit blitz, but that's about it. Why is the... Sorry, just noticed the RGB to HDMI was having a fit because I put the multimeter down on the menu button. Please don't ban Cobb, he's just subscribed, so at least give it a couple of days, huh? Anyway, what I want to do is bring up the... if I can find it. Bring up the schematics. And we can see that the red line on the video connector, I don't have a good way of highlighting stuff on the screen, but is on pin 11, which is the same as on the VT240, and it just goes through to sheet 10 red. And this is sheet 11, so sheet 10 is handily right next door. Sheet 10 red, graphics connector should be somewhere on here. Red, there we go. Pin 25 of the graphics connector. So it just goes straight through to the graphics card. Nothing else on the motherboard touches it. So what we want to do is see if we can find pin 25. Is this connector down here? And I don't know where pin 1 is. Let's throw some light on the subject. There is not an obvious marking on the connector body, which is annoying. So we shall have to go back to the motherboard diagram. So bring that up again. And we want... There's a drill, there we go. So there's the back of the machine. That is this connector here, and is that a pin 1 mark? Yes, pin 1 is there. So we want to probe at pin 25. So pin 1 is this corner. Let's see what we can find. Right. For a start, this crop clip has fallen off already, so that's good. And we should be able to go 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 3, 5. We have no continuity to there. Let's just run along the whole lot just in case. Did I miscount? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20, 2, 4. I did miscount, there we go. Right, so it gets as far as the connector on the motherboard, which is good. No obvious signs of any damage in the connector. I have just spotted 3 transistors, which presumably are the 3 drive outputs. So let's pop the board back in. And probe again. Got to find the connector again. There it is. Is that right? Ah. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I do not like what I'm looking at there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 23. Was I probing the wrong pin? Am I an absolute idiot? Wesley, usually sort of an hour, 2 hours, depends what I'm doing. It used to be an hour immediately before Shelby, on a Friday. Now that Shelton, well, now that our clocks have changed, there's 2 hours before shelving on a Friday. Sometimes I split it with Majenko. But it's late here Tuesdays because it's about the only other day of the week that someone else isn't streaming or I'm not busy. But I do have to deal with other stuff during the day and have dinner and all the rest of it, so I just have been thinking of doing some lightweight soldering type projects on a Tuesday evening. I have an RC 2014 kit to build up, which I think I might do over the next few weeks on Tuesdays. Incoming outbreak. Whoopee. Right, so I was going to double check that I wasn't probing the wrong thing, wasn't I? Red 25. Definitely says red is on pin 25, and I was not finding it on pin 25, so I must be counting wrong. But anyway, doesn't matter. We'll go back to the schematic. Thus, and somewhere in here is the schematic for the actual graphic board. I thought it was in this file. It must be in a different one. It must be in this one. Why is my internet so slow this evening? This is strange. So I'm just catching up with chat again. Cobb, there is not going to be a Balge bot. Someone once wrote one for an IRC channel I was in, I think, and it went horribly wrong. So we're not doing that. This is only a 16 meg file. What on earth has gone wrong? You'll make me paranoid with that one, Chloe. I couldn't find a belt for these jeans earlier, and it is having unfortunate consequences. Right, there we go. So what we want is to scroll through all of this lot. So that's the computer motherboard, and after that somewhere should be parts list. Exciting. That's the floppy drive controller. We don't. Well, now I am thoroughly confused. I was looking at this schematic earlier. Print set. Prime was reference. Sorry, I realise this is absolutely thrilling content, folks. I do apologise. No, that's floppy drive controller again. Let's try that one. PC 100 print set. Well, no point looking at the browser history because I know it was in this folder, or only place I've seen any of these is on BitSavers. So we can see which files I've already looked at. So that's the motherboard plot. So that's the onboard video. That's the Z80, right? And that's the floppy drive controller again. I mean, all of these assembly diagrams are wonderful if those are what you need, but okay. Manual. That doesn't have schematics in it, does it? Wesley, at the moment, just going to try and find continuity, make sure that it's going where it's supposed to be going. Once we figured that out, I don't know how to run the thing out of the chassis and probe it when it's live, unfortunately. Oh, you're all in ads. Excellent. I apologise. I shall catch up with chat in a second. So that. Yeah, no schematics in that one. So, okay, we're back from ads, are we? Yeah, so sorry, Wesley. During the ad, I noticed your question about what I'm looking for at the moment. At the moment, just for continuity, make sure I know where the signal is going, or should be going. And the main reason for that is I don't know how on earth to run the thing outside the chassis, because this whole assembly slides into the bottom of this tray. You don't have any access to the top when it's in there because there's a honking great brass plate in the way. There's no slack on the power cable, so yeah, could be tricky, but we'll see what we can do. Can't find the schematics I was looking for, but I can find these hand-drawn ones that someone has done, which might help. So Rainbow graphics card, what we want is to find the output stages. Maybe these are what I was looking at before. I don't remember it though. There we go. So red video. Okay, no ref des or anything, but as expected, comes straight out of a transistor which is driven by this. I thought it was a 4-bit DAC. 1, 2, 3. So this might be for... Did the Model A have a smaller palette for... No. Okay, anyway, so it comes out of that 2N2905. Did it ever work? I don't know, is the honest answer to that. We only fired the machine up for the first time a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago. And it defaults to green. The text mode is green only, so... This was the first time I managed to know to get it into a colour mode and see what was going on. Okay, so we should find it on one of those 3 transistors nearby. Good timing there. So... Transistors were below it, weren't they? So it'll probably be... Let's have a look. There's the transistor there with resistor network next to it. So we have resistor. So that the transistor there? Well, this is not particularly pleasant. Let's have a look. You can't see. Ha! I do apologise, folks. So, I think it's probably that transistor, which has... Okay, right, so there's the pair of resistors next to it, so the transistor presumably is that triangle there. So let's pop it back in and see what we find. Nothing. It should be around here somewhere, shouldn't it? There. Okay. So it wasn't the one nearest that end of the slot at all, it was this one. So it's that transistor might be suspect. Let's go back to the schematic. Diode check and compare to neighbours. Yeah, so let's go back. RHK. It's a planar memory, but it uses effectively a RAM DAC. So I think the video memory is just stacked planes, and that feeds through a multiplexer or a lookup table to get the 4-bit RGB values or RGBM values. Let me just see if we can see where those are coming from. Not easily. Yeah, so let's do a quick in-circuit diode check and see what we get on that transistor compared to the other one, or other two, which are working. So it was... Yeah, let's see if we can find it first. So 1.2 volts to that pin and 1.3 volts to that pin, 1.4. Okay, and we'll try blue as the comparison, because that doesn't have to have any sync circuitry involved. So let's see if we can find the blue transistor. If it goes there, where are we? Right, so there's the pin we were looking for, and interesting. Sorry, I got 0.2 there. Let me just see what that was. A swarm of dented insects is now following me. Excellent, that's what I like. Thanks for the follow. Right, where then was... There's a 0.9. And a 0.9, so that's dramatically different. How robust is this connector? Summary flow. Yeah. As Chloe insinuates, it will not be a fun job. Let's have a look at the board construction and see. Maybe it's nicer than the VT240, but the VT240 was an absolute pig to work on. It uses a construction where there's a double-sided board in the middle for power planes, and then wiring embedded in epoxy on either side, as far as I can tell. And this looks, yeah, pretty similar. So, yeah, we think we want to pop that out. Let's see instead if I can find the tack a wire onto the input and see what we're looking at. So that's a common base amplifier, isn't it? I don't understand how that circuit works at all, you know. You've got a 4-bit buffer. Oh, I see, right. The buffer is not 4 bits of E18 isn't 4 red bits, it's the second most significant bit of each of the 4 channels. Right, so we want to ideally we want to find that 121 ohm resistor, find the side that's on the transistor and probe there. No, hang on, that tells us something useful. The fact that it's not the fact that it's completely dead means that it's unlikely that the 4th bit in all 4 of these latches has died, because we know that the mono and the blue are working fine and green is probably working fine, we just don't have any way to find out. So either all 4 of those have the same fault, or the issue lies with that transistor. What time is it? 10:15. Well, okay, let's see if we can find that I forget. Is that collector or emitter? I'm looking at it strange. We'll see if we can find that resistor anyway and probe that. So it'll be 121, which will be brown, red, brown, no, 121 ohm, brown, red, brown, black. I am never going to be able to spot that by colour code. Hi Majenko, how are you doing? Caught the end, yes, it might very well be the end. Let me turn the schematic off. We have found absolutely no red signal coming out of the thing. We've traced or done a continuity check back to that transistor, I think it is. And now trying to work out how to figure out what's going on there. Because obviously there's no way to probe it in circuit, because there's a fucking great machine on top of it. Possibly both, Majenko. Let me have a think for a second. Let's find that resistor. Okay, folks with colour vision that works. Somewhere around there, is that going to focus, is a 121 ohm resistor. I think it's probably the one with the 4 stripes there, but I can't tell. My colour vision isn't up to it. If anybody can point it out, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'll just have to grab the meter and try and figure it out that way. Okay, not to worry. Let me grab the meter and then solder something in place. What do you mean, open? What? That's good. Well, that's 3 meg ohm, which doesn't sound right. And that's 75, so that's the termination. .2. Again. Aha, 121.98. So it's that one there. One, two, three, fourth in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, so that needs to go to that pin. Okay. This doesn't match the schematic at all. What am I missing? So there should be a so yeah, there should be a pin on that transistor that's common with one leg of that 121 ohm resistor, and I can't find it. Why? Let me grab my magnifier a second. Okay, it comes. One, two, three, four. So that's VREF. Why is there a? Oh, Majeko, thanks for the sub. Much appreciated. Is the chime at a more reasonable volume now, folks, by the way? What's that? There's a via here which looks like it's empty. Where's it gone? It's just north of. Yeah, there's a. You probably won't be able to see it. Just there. Is a via with no solder in it. It's underneath that resistor. Alright, let me just catch up with the old chat. Okay, thanks for letting me know I've fixed that. I didn't realise it was so loud. When I tried to check on previous streams when it should do that for follows, it wasn't at all. So anyway, oh hi Phil, how you doing? Yeah, it could be. I'm trying to work out what it's actually connected to. Well, the problem is because it's beat, but there. We'll try that one again. Because it's underneath that resistor, can't really see where it's supposed to go. Except it can't go anywhere because 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, immediately west of it is a trace that just runs straight down, so it can't. I'll tell you what, that is. Oh, we're in an ad break, are we? Sorry about that. That is, I think. Can I draw on this somehow? Not easily. I think that's the link that's immediately below the 20 nanofarad cap there. So I think that's actually bringing the video, the sum of red from the DACs. Okay, yeah. So I shall wait for the ad break to finish. Oh yeah, back with me, folks. Because I reckon that is where the sum of. Right, okay, you're back, great. Yeah, I reckon that is, if we look at the schematic on screen there, you've got the VREF through the 121 ohm resistor, and then that to the left of that is the link to the sum of the DAC, the red DAC. So okay, yeah, Majenko might well be right, because there is. It probably doesn't need solder through it, but it looks vaguely suspicious. At least it helps me identify which end of that is the interesting end of that resistor. So let me tack down a flying lead of some description. I wonder where. Let's see if we can find where those other resistors are. So it comes through the board and it goes down here. There, so it's this bank down. Let me turn Safari off again. I'm pretty sure this bank here is the actual resistor DAC. So for E26, 18. Oh, 18. Right, excellent. 18 is at least labelled. So pin QD should go through a 705 ohm resistor to that point. So let's see. What is that chip? Seven four one six three. There, what the hell? LS163. And D output is on pin 11. Right, let's see if we can find something. Is that on continuity? No. Now it is. So we need to go from 9, 10, 11. Right. So where I have the probe at the moment is the 705 ohm resistor on the QD output of E18. So the other side of that resistor should be common to that 121 ohm one we were looking at. So if we go there, it is. Okay, so there is continuity through there. So that's where we want to tap something off. Which makes it nice and easy. Because it means all I have to do is tack something down to that hollow looking via on the backside. So let's find a soldering iron and get to it. Be quiet, you. So we want to go to that one there. Where were we? No, it's not going to like that. There we go, that should give us let's cut a reasonable length of this off if I can find some wire cutters. They were here earlier. There we go. One second. Well, good on you, Jeepin. I like cats. I don't necessarily think that cats are a good thing to let outdoors. And not just because they like to dig up my flower beds and shit in them. It's always fun when they tear apart some poor defenceless pigeon or something on your lawn when your nephews are watching. Right, what was I doing? I was going to make sure I've put that in the right place. That's what I was going to do. So, sorry, out of shot for a moment. Let's not put that on a metal surface when I'm trying to probe it. There was that one there. Should be good. Congratulations on getting burgered, Carrot House. I have not been burgered since... when did I last get burgered? Almost a week ago. Right. So I just need to do make a right mess of things and get this reinstalled. Is there a hole we can feed this out through, or do I just have to do the brute force and ignorance method? Looks like the latter. In fact, while I'm at it, I shall take that down with something so I know which one it is. Go. And now we just have to manhandle it back into the case. So bear with me. Drop the keyboard, that would help. Oh, this is always a bit awkward. And reattach the floppy drives. Well, might as well plug the Winchester in. Even if it doesn't work, just to make Majenko jealous. Come on, why are you not? Okay, we won't plug the Winchester in because I can't physically make it fit at the moment. The motherboard must be slightly sloppily aligned. But the power cable should go in. Why? There we go. Okay. So we want green. No, we don't. We want mono. And we want that red signal. And we could definitely do some grounds. And finally power back to the oscilloscope. And we'll see how badly wrong this has gone, and then call it a night at the top of the hour. But let's bring up oops. What have I done there? Off. What have you been doing in the chat while I was away? Hang on. Right, I shall choose to trust you this time. Right, let's hope it doesn't explode when I turn the power on. Well, we have some activity on the scope, which is good. Why do we have nothing on the... Right, I shall take your word for it, Jeepin. Why do we have no video on the RGB to HDMI? This is not good. It might help if I plugged it in. There we go. Majenko added permitted term, have you buggered? Excellent, that's what we like in my streams. So we want to boot DOS. And we also want to... second add... Right, so we're back here and we want to go press one of these buttons there, yeah, and oh, okay, let me bring up the oscilloscope for a second. In fact, let me exit this. How do you... Right, so oscilloscope, which I think, let's try to see if I can get it right this time. There. So, mess at the top is the mono signal, which you can see the sync pulses, so that's always good. And the red is just sitting at around 4 volts. Bit higher, bit lower. Not much happening. So we'll fire up the drawing program again. Yes, this is before the transistor, so this is the sum of the... Well, this is the raw output from the resistor DAC in there. And if we go here, there is now activity on there, and we can move that pulse up and down with the intensity control. Can't really show you both at the same time, unfortunately. I've only got the one capture. But it looks like all the palette stuff is working. So the planes are working, the RAM DAC is working, or the palette RAM DAC, etc. is working. So it is probably just that transistor. So I guess I'm ordering one of those, and we shall try replacing it at some point. Excellent. So ads start in 5 minutes, but I think I could probably save you all of those by can kind of see it. Oh, that's a fair point. Let's fade that out a bit. Filters, filters, filters. Where's the filters? Filters down there. Colour correction 0.9, 0.7. So yeah, if we You can see that the red hiding there by the flashing cursor, that's the red chart, and the pulse is moving accordingly on the raw signal. So it's just the output amplifier. I could swap with another one. Yeah, I'll buy 3. I could probably swap it with the green one because that's currently not being used. What it does is it actually puts, let's bring the schematics up again, and let's bring up the real schematics this time. It actually just outputs a 4-bit, no, why is this being so sluggish this evening? Okay, I'll explain it rather than show you. The graphics card, for its by default, its green channel, the mono channel, by default it uses the mono channel as the green channel, and the mono channel is output as a 4-bit signal to the motherboard, and that gets fed into the same 4-bit DAC as the onboard video does. The onboard text mode video does. On the this is the model B, so all 4 bits are used, so it should be a 16 level output on mono, which we've seen works. So yes, in theory the green transistor is currently sitting idle because nothing is paying attention to that signal. So I could swap that over. I don't want to do it now because I would have to tidy up considerably in order to make room for the desoldering station and then figure out exactly which pins are which on the thing, because it's not entirely obvious looking at the board. But yeah, that's definitely a way forward. I shall order 3 of those, and then we'll probably take a look maybe next week, maybe later in the month. What I want to start doing next week probably is the RC 2014 build, because it's been sitting on my coffee table for nearly 2 years at this point, and it would be nice to get it running, ideally before June, and we shall see why when I start it. So yeah, Friday is going to be System 1. Yep. I'm going to dig that out, polish it up a bit, and show you its innards, and then yes, the RC 2014 is the do-it-yourself Z80 kit. It should be quite fun. I've got a nice one. It's not the Picasso one that he released for April Fools, which is wonderful. I would love to have one of those. I can't afford to drop £100 on it at the moment, but I have an equally good one, or even better one, from a couple of years ago. Yeah, Friday we'll take a look at System 1. I'll show you its innards. I shall hopefully fire it up and we can play with Forth for a few minutes and demonstrate that it does actually work. And then future efforts on that I'll discuss more on Friday, but there will be streams afoot for System 1. And we'll try and fit in a stream to fix this up once I get the fresh transistors in. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you all very much for joining me, especially at such short notice. I think it was, yeah, about 10 minutes or so, which yeah, it's been a day, so it was nice to actually have a victory here and know what I need to do next. So yeah, thanks all for joining me. Catch me next time, and catch Majenko on Thursday, because hopefully he's doing something exciting. Maybe his MFM hard drive emulator design. But yeah, cheers all.